What does she have, Kaylin?
She's got gadgets and gizmos aplenty.
Who's it's and what's it's galore?
You want thingamabobs?
She's got 20 at least. But she
20 times
always
20.
wants more. She always wants more.
Always.
Apparently, that's where we're starting today. There will always be a song in every Girlfriends Without Benefits episode. So
It just fits.
it's just so we're clear. Who wants to go first for personal life update? I feel like I meant to.
It's you, friend.
Yes.
It's you.
We've got a kind of
gotta-
overarching theme of bringing all of our favorite gadgets and gizmos that we use on a daily basis. Because we all know that we like to buy things that improve our quality of life, and a lot of them end up in drawers, etc. But Cass is one of the few people who actually uses most of the things that she buys. And so we're going to kind of sprinkle our favorite gadgets and gizmos throughout the podcast episode today.
So there'll probably be a lot of links in the show notes, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's funny
for
because
this morning you've been using all your gadgets.
I have, and it's funny. I was even just turning my head. I was like, "Oh shit!" I don't realize how much you move until it's taken away from you. But what's interesting is I would have had no personal updates. It's like had I woken up when I was supposed to this morning, I would have been like everything.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't.
I feel
I'm
like
thinking about your personal life right now, and there's some shit going on even before this morning.
No, I don't think. I mean, it's just standard operating procedures at this time. But it's funny because this morning I got woken up I went to bed at 10:30 and I got woken up at 3:30 and was wide awake. And it was like, get out of bed. And I was like, I don't want to get out of bed. I've only slept 5 hours. Like, this is not okay. This is not fair. Like, it's snowy, it's cold, my bed's warm. So I did what most people would do and go back to sleep. And got woken up at 4:30 and 5 and 5:20, and then finally went back to sleep from 5:20 till 6:45. And at the lovely hour of 5:30, 10 minutes after I finally fell asleep for like good, got a call that Diana's school was canceled. So I didn't find that out until 6:45 when her alarm had already rang. Like we were like in progress of school perspective.
Oh, dang.
Uh-huh.
Girl could have slept in.
So I'm like, oh, damn it. So I go downstairs and I'm making a cup of coffee and I'm good to go. And, talking to Diana, and she's like, well, what am I doing today now? And we're like, well, no school, blah, blah, blah. And I go to like stretch because I like reached up, which I can't do right now in the video. And I like always basically interlace my fingers, press up, and then like kind of stretch like side body, just sleeping in like a fetal position. And Tom hears pop, like literally from across the room. He's like, what was that? And like I was stuck like that in that stretching position for probably 5 minutes. Like could not put my arms down, like a ligament or something. I'm pretty sure it was a ligament because you can actually feel it like pop over the actual like bone. It like slid to the side and popped on my shoulder. So my head turning is like maybe 20 degrees one way and 35 degrees the other. I was like, I have like no. So of course I do the shaman shit stuff first, and I'm like, okay, biofreeze.
Gadgets and gizmos.
Biofreeze. Gizmos. This was first. This is my Maui hook. This thing's magical. If you've ever seen one of these, like you can get like all the nodules and things. So I'm literally grabbing it, putting it into my back, and like pulling with all of my might to like, because that was the only. It hurt to like breathe for I don't know 10 minutes. So I made Tom run upstairs, grab that, and then I start doing all of the other things of like, okay, biofreeze it up. I was looking for oxycodone, I didn't have any, so I used Tylenol. It was like, and
that's a gadget and a gift.
I have not taken Tylenol or any sort of anything like that in probably since Amelia was born, so over a year.
Oh, dang.
That tells you how seriously it hurts. Yeah.
Correct. I just don't do that or reach for that.
You haven't taken it since you were cut open all the way through.
Correct. Since a C-section, and I still took it begrudgingly then. So like that is not the thing that I gives us for.
Okay.
And I couldn't find it. So I was like, fine. It was like, Tom, how many Tylenol can I take before my liver explodes? He's like, oh no. So I took 5. So liver's still good for the time being. And then I was like, okay, as I was sitting there, Tom's like, he's like, obviously this is energetic. I was like, fuck you. And he's like, what did we learn from this? And I was like, what did we learn? I was like, interesting you use the term we. I was like, next time I wake you up at 3:30 and make you get up with me. And he's like, no, that's not what we learned. What did you learn? I was like, next time I get up at 3:30. So, and actually like do the thing I'm supposed to do. Cause I had a pile of work stuff that was not meeting oriented that like I had slotted in my calendar for today. And it was like, oh, it was probably about 2 hours worth of work. I could have crushed all of that. So I was like, that's entertaining. So then I moved on to Arnica CBD. Good. I used more BioFreeze. And then I started actually pulling out the plants and herbs and things. So I pulled out belladonna, which is one of the herbs that I was using. And it's an interesting one because it's meant to cut ties from self I mean that just hurt. Um, like even just like the little movements in my neck, it's meant to cut ties from self and like reconnect you with source and like listening skills. So I was like, I should probably do that as well. So I just tinctured that before we started the podcast.
So hopefully by the time we're done recording this, it's kicked in.
We're really hoping. So
Yikes.
that's the updates. And then of course my head goes to every time I travel, which I'm traveling in 2 days now, sciatica comes up. And like Jade and Kaylin have seen this religiously, like 2 or 3 days before, like massive sciatica down my left side. And then of course I get in my head and I'm like, am I actually going? Can I actually do a trip alone and carry my own suitcase? All the bullshit. Mind you, I've never reached for pain medicine during those. I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. It'll come and go. And this one, I'm like, holy shit. So I get used to my leg hurting before I travel, or like, the pain down my left side of my leg hurting before I travel. And then I'm like, and then once I'm quote used to it, we move to the shoulder. This hook is making a lot of noise. So
Maui hooks and belladonna.
Maui hooks, belladonna,
BioFreeze,
oxycodone.
We're not afraid of using anything from any realm if it serves.
Absolutely.
You are glowing. You've got the sun behind you, Kaylin. So you're in your typical halo earth angel. You're literally glowing. You're backlit.
She is backlit. It's kind of nice.
There's none of that in Maine or Wisconsin,
No.
where Cass and I are. We are snowing. So
Yikes.
Yeah, we're icing here. So
yeah, it's been dark and cold here, so I receive all of the sun.
Right.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Warm me.
What is your personal update, Kaylin?
What is my personal update?
And do you have any gadget or gizmo to add to it?
Of course I do. All of them.
Great. Great.
Let's see. Personal life. Well, it's kind of more of the same, I feel like, with the bullying and the familial stuff going on. If it's not one cold or cough with one child, then the other child has it. And when the other child's starting to get over that, now last night my son just vomits out of nowhere, and he's normally a very clean, quick to the toilet, throw up in the toilet, get it all in there kind of a vomiter. And last night it was in the hallway, up the walls, and the carpet, like everywhere. And then brought it to the bathroom, got it on the floor in the bathroom, on the rug in the bathroom, all over the toilet. It's like, sure.
I don't know what episode it is, but we had like at least a 15-minute conversation about Hayden's puke in that episode as well. So this is a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, like you're like really seeing the tie between the energy and when he pukes, and it's like physical, spiritual, mental, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But also
what's wild is like, as soon as I acknowledge and then complete the thing that I know I need to do, I know all of that will end.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to deal with any of this bullshit anymore. And so finally I was like, okay, fucking fine, I'll do this. I will finish what I need to do.
What was
And
this? What was it?
so I've got to submit my application for grad school. Like
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
I've been like getting that since I was pregnant with Kennedy, and like putting it
Yeah.
off and putting it off, and like I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. And like now literally I'm getting all of the things that I need to get done for work, and also being pulled away
Yeah.
to like tend to children. So it's like, okay, I get it. I'll still be able to get everything done that I need to get done, and I
Yeah.
won't have to deal with
Yeah.
sick kids. Perfect.
That's awesome. That's
So
a really, yeah.
yeah. So needless
So
to
what's your
say, I
gadget?
submitted my application this morning. I'm done. My
Oh, you did
gadget,
submit
Good
it?
job.
I did. Oh yeah. I was up
Woohoo!
early this morning. Yeah.
Mind you, we're
Good
recording this
job,
at like 8
Kaylin.
o'clock. So
Yeah, no.
I was
No,
like
I was
this
up early this
morning. Yeah.
morning.
Good job.
what time were
Yeah.
you submitting it? Just curious about my shoulder pop.
That's a good question.
Did
6:50
it
something?
happen? Okay, so about the same time.
Yeah,
Because I
it was
got
like
out of, I was like
6:30.
6:56 was and I popped.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
there you go.
right on target.
Perfect. Right on time.
If anything, we're
And we
consistent.
just transfer one thing to the next, one thing to the next. That's fine.
So what's your gadget and gizmo for this?
I will have to go get it. But it is a spray that I have found. It's a concentrate, and it removes the scent of like
Puke.
dog urine, puke,
So
like
expecting.
anything small. And for from the animal sense, it keeps it from your pets like peeing or whatever, marking a spot. But
Yes.
for vomit cleaning, it completely erases the scent and like does not come back. It is top
Oh,
top notch.
that
All
is
good stuff.
cool. And it's
Give me one.
obviously like pet
It's on
safe
Amazon. Yep.
and
Yeah, it's pet safe, all the things.
Interesting.
Non-toxic for your children. It smells
well,
like
I
it's citrusy. It's very delicious.
we will be sure and link that in
I
the
just
show.
put, yeah, I put vomit smell remover is what it's called.
Yeah, you can spray it. You can spray it in your on your like fabrics and stuff, like on anything, but you can use it to clean. I
Interesting.
put it in the dog kennels, spray it in their kennels, and I let it sit for 10 minutes, and then I go and I wipe it out and like completely removes any of the like dog scent. Now, these two have been to my house and they understand that
Yes.
I don't like the scent of animals or anything like that. Even like making my house look like I have kids is like real hard no for me. So it's good stuff. Highly
I
suggest.
and Kaylin I trust when it comes to things like this. I believe you.
Yes. I was really waiting for the breastfeeding pillow to be your gadget and gizmo, to be honest with you.
Well, that too.
The boppy.
Yeah, I live with this thing on my lap these days,
Yeah.
even when my
Okay.
boobs aren't out.
So personal update. Um, my daughter Alana is still here from Australia. She'll be here till the 13th. So still just spending lots of time with her. And um, you know, not to get into it too much, but I also want to be real and honest. Like it's hard because well, like here's a good Eric was given a word for me before she came. He just came up to me and he said, she's here for 3 weeks and you can't change anything. She's gonna go like you can't like and I was like, yeah, I received that. So every time there's something going on with her, she's unraveling a lot of shit. As she comes back, there was a lot of really hard things that happened to her in this town with people in this city before she left. And she's having to come up against that. And I can only just love her. I can't like find her a therapist or find her XYZ. Like there's very practical things I want to do as her mother that I just can't do. I have to like really have open hands and let her go kind of. And all I can do is just hug her and love her. And that's been really hard for me. Um, but really good. And I especially appreciate her relationship with her sisters when I see my girls together. It's really it's just very powerful, and they are just so sweet to each other, and they love each other so much. The first night Audrey spent the night, they fell asleep holding hands.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
I know. And Sophia and Alana fought really badly when Sophia was younger, and Sophia and Alana, it's just like I got this magical transport from like teenager to woman, like
Yeah. Yeah.
right. And Sophia was a teenager and now is a woman, and I mean she's 19. And so we've just been having fun. We really partied hard on New Year's Eve, and went out, and it's like the most fun thing to bring all three of my girls behind me like little gorgeous ducklings, and I'm like, here's my daughters, and they're like, what? Nobody believes it, right? And then they're all just so, and we didn't buy one drink that night, not one drink.
Oh.
Sophia was a designated driver, because in Wisconsin it's a lot, like it's like she's 19, but she can walk in as long as she's with me. So anyway, it was really fun. But that being said, my gadget and gizmo is a present that my daughters bought for me for Christmas, and it's called the Now Tone Therapy, NOW Tone Therapy, and it's a sound bath. Kind of the tagline for it is yoga for your mind. So there are these little speakers that you put on either side of your head, and they only last for 3 minutes, but they reverberate back and forth and just use these certain hertz tones, and it really just like puts you in a meditative state, and they work like gangbusters. They're really
Do you
cool.
have it with you?
They're in my bedroom. I brought them up on my phone because they're on Amazon too. Oh, you can't see that.
Oh, can't see that.
NOW, little silver speakers. But they're really cool, and I like them a lot. So that's my gadget and gizmo.
How big are they?
They're like the size, what is that? Like,
I don't know, 2x2, 3x3, something in that range.
yeah, 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 not too big. Like the size of the bottom of a large coffee cup.
Okay.
And do you put them like, do they go on your ears like headphones, or do you just hold
No.
them?
No, you just I lay down and just set them on the bed on either side of me, and you just push the button and they do their thing. They do you do have to charge them, but the charge lasts for weeks. So
Oh wow,
Interesting.
that's cool.
Have you tried Jack's Brain Tap yet, Jade?
I haven't personally tried Jack's Brain Tap yet, but we
Because I'm
did a bunch
wondering
of
the similarities.
research. And yeah, yes, that's another gadget and gizmo very similar in nature that Cass sent to Jack for Christmas, and he feels very special that he got a present from you.
Well, sometimes my gadgets and gizmos travel.
Yes,
The best way to say that.
So
Because,
I have to try that and see it. Here, Eric just brought them in for me so you can see them.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah.
Those are so cool.
Those are cool.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. My girls found them and thought of me. They're like, this is so you. And you're right, it is me. So that's my personal update.
Nice.
Aww, I love that.
Very cool.
Yes. Serve us up some shaman shit.
Can you give me an idea of what I should talk about?
I think that we should say that the shaman with aligned and right, because I feel like they're
synonymous
in
this
what
week.
we're dealing with. Yeah, what we're dealing with right now, why you're traveling, where you're going, is like shaman and aligned perfectly, a perfect example of how you don't
Thanks,
take off
Jade.
one. Yeah.
Totally.
So I leave in 2 days. She head to both Seattle and San Francisco. And actually, immediately after this call, I get on the phone with our 2 candidates for CTO, because I got the download that we need both of them. And I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how it will work. I don't know if it'll work. I don't know any of that stuff. All I know is that like we're meant to have both in two different capacities because their skill sets are so vastly different that we're merging them for the first time in in an hour, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Jade, I feel like you could actually tap onto this a little bit too from like a chart perspective, because when we get a new candidate or a new employee, Jade will ever loving chart the shit out of them and composite all of us together in the team. So,
And then I'm like, show me this. Okay, now show me these people together. Okay,
and
now
then
show me.
and then Kaylin comes up with 72 more ways to cut the charts.
I know. Yeah, that's a perfect example of bringing shaman, astrology, and all of our gifts right into that space. Even the way that we found those candidates, like Cass wrote this gorgeous post. I think we talked about that before, that brought these really interesting people. And then, I screened them, and then Kaylin rescreened them, and then a few got through to talk to Cass, and we're all pretty much on the same page. So she has no problem in her interview with them saying, I need your birth time and birth date. And that is like required. Like, we need that before we go anywhere else.
And it's not for age discrimination by any stretch.
No, no.
Just a little legal disclaimer. Like,
Yeah.
we don't care. But it is for like looking under the hood of the car, if you will.
Yes.
And like,
and
just for sake of numbers.
Oh, go Cass.
I was just like, my number analytical brain popped on. Like, we got 52 candidates. Jade probably talked to 20 of them, 17, 18, 20, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
And then I would say Kaylin got 6 and I got 2. I'm still talking to some of the other ones, but for other purposes. But it like the initial 50 to 20 was all muscle testing, all energetics of yes or no. And then we're rinsing and repeating now for the CFO position too, of like, we had 52 applicants in 17 hours. So
yeah. And I already have how many on my docket next week?
I have no idea. They're really excited though.
This morning, I was like, damn.
We're finding
Monday is
CFO.
stacked.
Monday is a day. Monday is a day. Got to get rid of this cold before Monday.
On a total side, kind of funny.
On Monday.
On a total side and funny note is when you get we use Tech by Tola for obviously all of our scheduling and things of that nature. But when Jade gets a thing on her calendar, for some reason, Jade's calendar, when she gets an invite, is the same color as my calendar. Oh. So like, I looked at it and it was all the green on my calendar, and I was like, oh no, what the fuck is that? And I was like, oh, those are all Jade. Okay, breathe.
Okay, here's a good time to bring in a gadget and gizmo. Can we just talk about Tech by Tola for a minute? This platform. Because no, seriously though,
that Jade, who literally does not do tech, figured out how to set up her own calendar on her own, edit it, do all the things. She did it right.
I did it. And that is, I don't know how much we've talked about my lack of technology ability.
They've probably picked it up over 55 episodes.
Yeah, seriously. It's really bad. Like, everything breaks if I touch it. So
to be fair, whenever Jade tries to share her screen on Zoom, she always shares the Zoom first. She gets to it eventually, but the first thing she shares is the Zoom window that pops up when you open a Zoom room for your browser. That's the first thing she shares. Every time she's like, I'm not going to do it, guys. I know what I'm doing.
I'm not saying that there's a connection, but there could possibly be a connection with Jade and Mercury in retrograde, because when Mercury is in retrograde, she's better at technology.
Just like when you're going through Saturn shit, you take the reins and like ride that Saturn. Like,
Saturn's a bitch.
Yeah, reverse cowgirl Saturn.
Yes.
Ouch, my neck.
Ouch, my neck. So yeah, so Tech by Tola is we'll link that out too. Beautiful platform that any business can be moved to, and I love it. And I am, to get back on track though, we are screening a lot of people, and we are really excited about these 2 candidates that Cass is going to go and meet. They're very open. Obviously, they wouldn't make it through unless they're very open to the fact that Cass is a shaman and she leads by spirit, and they are interested in that. and they had no problem giving us their birth time. So I immediately went through and kind of read their charts, and then I started a composite chart. And a composite chart is just when you take two charts and you create if you think of a birth chart as your karmic journey in this lifetime, a composite chart is the karmic journey of that relationship in this lifetime. What is it? What are the pitfalls, or what are the strengths? What is going to be the emphasis of that relationship? And you can do, I think we've done as many as, how many, like together, like 8 or 9,
I think
15,
8, yeah.
a whole team one.
Eventually it'll be, 200. I'm like, Jay, can you composite our whole company of 200 people?
Right.
Is
So
Saturn in the 8th house? No,
Oh,
Venus in the 8th
Venus,
house.
always
we're
Venus in the 8th house. Yeah.
we are on the lookout for a few things, one of them being Venus in the 8th house, because Venus is the planet of love, and plenty in the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which is really in a composite chart concentrated on transformation and money. And when you've got Venus in the 8th house in a composite chart, it's like, go into business with this person, you're going to make some money. We're looking for Jupiter on the midheaven. Jupiter is the planet of plenty and expansion. If it's sitting up on the top of the chart, man, that is a good sign that you can really expand together. So in the stars are telling us that we need both of these people, and we could do with either one of them. They're both great fits. But yeah, we're really
with both.
Venus is in the 8th house.
Mm-hmm.
She's in the 8th house. So
Yeah, so I think my next hour, just for sake of pre-hypothesis, maybe isn't the best word, is to actually like basically break down ego, which is something that I so lovingly do. And also kind of what I got from Spirit is to kind of tell the story of how I said I would never X, Y, and Z. And what we've been doing is all of my I would nevers X, Y, and Z. So in chatting with both of these candidates, I was like, oh, would you ever work with someone else, or would you give this part of technology away to someone else? And they're both like, no, absolutely not. And I'm like, well, you're wrong, but okay, let's do this.
The fun thing.
The more you say no, the more the universe says, oh, yes, you will.
Right.
So I got the kind of analogy of it being broken into pieces because it will be so big, and that we could do it and be sustainable with one, but to get to the level of which we're called to get to, and to really which we're called to take this, I'm like, we need both. And it's whether or not they want to play. And regardless, as long as I follow and do what I'm told, we'll be okay and rewarded. And like, but if I didn't take the step to have them merge together, like to take two top level CTOs and merge them together in a call before either of them have any job offer, like,
right.
I'm sorry, my dick is huge right now. Like, you just don't do that. And like, you could tell that both of them were like oddly uncomfortable, but it's fine.
Of course
like,
they are.
And then Jade, I just feel like you need a 10-second chart analysis of what the charts look like together and then with me.
So Cass saw all this coming, but it's beautiful. We never stop getting excited that astrology always like paints the picture of what Cass is already getting the download of, right? Or vice versa. First I'll do the astrology, then she gets the download. So their charts together are powerful. They are all about ideas and functioning together as an organization, as a team. Their 11th house is loaded, and that is Aquarius for any astrology buffs out there. And it's just like, it's technology, it's forward thinking, it's bringing the
disruption
to today. It is like a friendship, it is camaraderie, it's everything we want to have in these two charts. And all around that in the chart is some major ego issues. Mars in the first house making a nasty square to Saturn. It's just like they are going to have to get past that before they can reach the yummy stuff. And when you put Cass's chart with the three of theirs, it gets a little complicated and funny, and it's all about action. So Mars moves to the 7th house of partnership, and Cass does that when her energy is added to theirs. So for her, when she's meeting with them, she has to have that big dick energy, which she can't really help but have anyway, but got to bring that to the forefront and be like, this is where we're going with this conversation.
She's gonna dom sham them, and I just wish that I could be on the call just to watch it.
I will record it for you guys.
Yeah, record it. And we can't be on the call because when you add Kaylin and I to it, it gets pretty again. It gets really like balanced and beautiful, which we need long term. But right now,
to bust these egos out, can't be us.
What's really funny too is I didn't even realize it. So the first interview I had with one of the candidates, I was like, he didn't give me any personality. He's just kind of like, like trying to like show off and be like, yeah, I've done it before. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, it'll be no problem. I'm like, we're fucking creating a social platform to take on the largest tech companies in the world, and you're telling me it'll be easy? Like, come on, friend. Like, and like one of the comments he made was like, yeah, any CTO at my level have made 50 social platforms. I'm like, I think you're like a load of bullshit. But like, it's funny, the second time we talked to him, he was like, he said something, and it was like, there was like an intimidation factor with me of like, I thought
he was basically referred to basically like you would have seen that or would have done that or whatever. Or like cast nose or something.
Yeah, it was just it was interesting. So I was like, okay, we got this very like peacocky version. And I was like, I'm just gonna play with that. I'm like, I can do that too, friend. And now it's like it's turned to being like, oh, she knows that, or like she's already seen that, or I'll trust in her vision. And I was like, wow, times have changed. Cool. Yeah. So it'll be interesting I'm really interested to put them together and see how that goes. And I have like a very micro agenda from Spirit, and then I'm just supposed to sit back and watch.
Cass got to see the side that Jade and I saw, which was
I did.
Second conversation. Yeah.
Like where
I'm like, is he a human? We're like, yeah, he is. He's so chill. And we did this. And she's like, oh, I did not get that. We're like, oh no, he is.
Well, I'm like, what are your interests? And he's like, big tech, data. I was like, so what do you do outside of work? He's like, data. And I'm like, no, you fucking don't.
But also when I pulled up his chart and I went through it, which I did for the first 5 minutes of our conversation. I mean, it's in his chart that work is like Kaylin. Work is play for him. Work is his way out of any sort of like feelings that he can't accomplish something. He just goes to work and feels accomplished. So it is could be
the
true.
good news is if you ask Kaylin her interest, she's not going to be like, well, I really love organizing cabinets 37 times a day. And
yes,
it's true, but like you have other interests that are not just like you would have had a different answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's true.
I know you love organizing cabinets. Is there a gadget or gizmo for that?
Is there? I've got so many. Don't even get me started on clear bins.
It's true. We'll link out to Target.
There's a ranking.
She loves clear bins.
I do. This is the greatest. Listen, it's just like, why wouldn't I? You know,
you are so ridiculously organized. It cracks me up.
Necessary.
I think
I have one more gadget.
Yeah.
So I've been addicted to, I bought it for Tom and I for Christmas, the Somavedic. It is an EMF blocker and a water structurer. And it's funny because I'm actually using it right after this because I need to finish so those manifestation blends, I know we've teased it on the podcast before, but holy shit, took it yesterday, another $6,400. No, $6,900.
Will you please send them? When are they coming?
I'm structuring the water right now. I just finished the bottles. They now have labels. We have this one, which is Control Alt Delete to clear negative thoughts, because why wouldn't we have the name of Control Alt Delete? And then we have this one, which is the manifestation blend. So the water is currently sitting on the Somavedic. It's being structured, and then they will be completed today.
Okay, say some more words about Somavedic water structuring.
Somavedic watering structuring. So essentially, water holds memory and water holds energetics. So what I am doing is taking plant essences and flower essences and adding it to the water and taking very small doses of like basically a homeopathic version of a flower essence structuring the water so that it matches the vibration and basically turning 3 drops into 1 milliliter or 2 milliliters. Or how much is this? 15 milliliters. I'm bad at milliliters,
Science.
you guys.
I just
So
let Jade completely go.
Jade has left her body when you start talking about that.
She went from this to
Stop in my face. It's not fair.
It's exciting. So actually, I'm bringing it to a fun fact, though, bringing it back to Seattle and San Francisco. I'm bringing a set for each of the guys, too, because this is part of like, if you're on board, you're going to be fully on board, just so we're clear.
and she's gonna make you take flower essences, okay?
Correct.
Yay.
You are taking essence of gold and malachite, and I have to turn my whole body to turn.
I need the gem essences in my life.
So
I am literally
and I'm
waiting
gonna save
with
on
bated
shipping.
breath. Yeah.
More important. Well, I'm traveling out there. They're not. I mean, this is not that big to travel with, so I'm bringing 2 sets.
Under the 3-ounce limit. Come on.
Correct. It is underneath the 3-ounce limit. It'll still go in checked baggage, but
You could carry
Oh
it on
my
if you wanted
goodness.
to.
So that is a really beautiful gadget in Gizmo. I also, for some reason, I keep being brought back to your tuning fork.
Mhm.
I think it's because I think we need one too in this household, but I know
You
you
do.
have that with you all the time.
I should
And
probably just give you this one because I got the set for the next time we travel. I got
Okay,
this is the root. This is root chakra, which I feel like the root chakra is the one you need anyway.
I know, you know that,
Are
but
you
like
laughing that it was right here and all I had to do was like reach 6 inches away?
everything has been right around you. You're like, oh yes, this, yes, this, yes, this, yes, yeah, and this,
What's really funny too is I didn't get up in between the time that Jade started this podcast
No.
and was like, oh, we should do gadgets and gizmos. And I was like, sure. I mean, I'm here.
Oh yes, you want thingamabobs? I've got 20.
as
Like,
I
what else?
said, I've never known anyone who actually uses her gadgets and gizmos as much as Cass. But yes, the tuning fork is really valuable, I think, for bringing you back in your body, right? She
is.
holds it up. Will you Vanna White that one more time? Show us how you use
I
it.
don't know if you can even hear it. Can you hear that?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we can.
Oh, I can hear it.
Oh,
Definitely.
perfect. Way to go, earpod.
Oh, crazy. And
So
then
that is
you
the sound
put it
of the root chakra. And you can you take the little needle side, poker side of it and put it into different meridians of the body.
meridians. Yeah.
So I used it yesterday on
Need that.
oh, I was business coaching and I got a little bit not bitchy, but just rubbed the wrong way because the person, it always happens. They said that they're going to do something that I already do. And I'm like, oh, that's an innovative idea. So one of them was like, oh, I'm going to teach people how to connect to their spiritual team. I was like, oh, where'd you get that idea? That's strange. And of course they are close to what they should actually be doing. We figured out that for her, it's meditating to manifest, which is like her specialty signature, mind you, but it had to start with something that I did. So I was sitting here and clearing myself while I'm like, okay, it's not about me, it's not about me, it's not about me. Because still I'm like, what the fuck, people? I've had so many people I don't what that I'm working with, Kaylin has seen it and attested it to. They'll
Oh
be
my
like,
god.
I'm not going to do divine feminine, I'm going to do feminine divine. I was like, really? It's stop it.
Or how about I'm going to start a VA marketing agency? Oh, you are.
Oh, you are. That's funny. Like what I have. So it's interesting. I'm like, but what's funny?
We did our roast without even knowing it.
We did do our roast. We always roast. Jade, this whole podcast is a roast. Anyway,
we're so the fact structured. We're so with it.
We are.
Organized.
And also, I'm just proud of the fact that I didn't have to get up or really turn my head past 30 degrees to get any of my gadgets.
Gadgets and gizmos.
Yeah. So there will be a link to tuning forks too. Any other things you feel called to as final
yeah, that
gizmos?
one was definitely one I knew that we needed to talk about. Let me think.
Jade has seen my closet, so
I know. Any other thing that I feel like we need to talk about?
I mean, your entire bedroom is filled with amazing gadgets and gizmos, up to and including your Uller, like all the things, all the things.
yeah.
I
We'll do a
okay.
biohacking episode then maybe.
I
The
am
sauna.
obsessed with this humidifier that I got that is also a diffuser.
Is that the
And
one that I ordered? That is the one that I ordered.
what you ordered it?
Yeah,
When?
last year when you bought it, you said it was amazing, and I
Oh,
went and ordered it.
oh,
And
you
that's what
did?
I. Yeah,
Do you remember
Yeah.
the name of it? I'm trying to see
You
if it was.
sent her the link. I
Oh,
was
I can't
there.
remember that. I forgot that. Yeah, it is do you use yours? It's the easiest. Humidifiers are
sure
so,
haven't.
oh, they're so hard to clean, right? Can we talk about that for a minute?
Oh
Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're the worst. They get
Oh yeah.
scummy, they get gross. Like,
Yeah.
they're so annoying. This is the easiest one to clean, so easy, and it runs forever, and it really diffuses. Like, oh yeah, there it is.
October 6th, 2022. It was a
That's
purchase.
so funny. Yeah,
It's on sale right now, so we'll make sure we link to that too.
yeah, no filters needed in this like winter, in these winter months. I just feel I've been diffusing like everything in that, whatever mood I feel like the house needs. It's like, do we need some lavender or do we need some bergamot? Do we need
All
whatever
of
we
it.
need? Yeah, all of it.
The
So
answer is
I
yes.
I think that is a really good gadget and gizmo for
The
winter
winter
months.
drama. Speaking of which, have you used your sauna?
Oh my God, there is another gadget and gizmo we have to talk about. I use it all the time. Thank you, Cass. So if you can't afford to build yourself a sauna, a portable sauna is only a couple $100 away,
I love
right?
the commercial of it. It is, yeah. I
Seriously,
think it's
you
like
would,
200
Moira.
bucks.
Yeah, and your room is big enough that you can keep yours up.
Yeah.
I have no space in my house to keep it up, and I was worried about that because you have to break it down every time you use it, and I was like, will I actually do that? But it's not that hard. It takes like 1 minute to put up, 1 minute to
Hmm.
take down. And you sit in this big tent thing with your head poking out the top. It looks really stupid.
I think it looks adorable, but that's
No,
fine.
does it? Every time I'm in it, I can see myself in the mirror and I'm just like, I can't. And then Eric will be sitting in it, just like with his little head, just like out of the top, like a turtle. It's just funny to me. But yeah, I use it all the
A lot
time.
of times I get really good ideas and we'll like Marco Polo them via sauna. So
I was gonna say you've definitely Marco Polo'd us from the sauna before.
Marco
You're
Yeah.
like,
Poloed everyone
hi
from the
guys.
sauna. You
Yeah.
have
So
little armholes, so you're just like bloop, like
which
just like
cracks
your
Isn't
me
there a
up.
little pocket on the outside too for
there
your
is a pocket.
things?
Yes. There's a
Yep, it's.
pocket on the outside. There's little armholes you can stick your arms through and be on your phone while you're in the sauna. It's so funny.
Do you like it more
The
than normal saunas? Because like that's like, do you?
That's a good question. I know you do because you
I
feel
do.
like a little suffocated.
Well, I can stay in there for hours.
Right. That's true, but I always do feel like the top part of my neck and
Mhm.
just doesn't get I mean, your neck doesn't get it, and I really want that part in there, and then my face obviously doesn't get it. So I'll just get in the shower after the sauna and really just massage like the hot water into that part of my neck and really give my face some attention. But
Of course, I have a gadget for this. I have one of those beanbag neck things. It's almost within reach. Actually, you can see it. Yes,
I
it's
would say I
right
can see it right there. I
there.
know what you're talking about. Yes.
Aha, it is basically within reach. But you can throw it on the microwave, and I basically put it on sometimes, like when
oh,
it's
during
cold.
the
I'll put
sauna.
that around, and it just kind of like again condenses everything down in it. So it is located right there
That is
in
hilarious.
the video.
Yeah. Yeah. So I tried Cass's sauna when I was at her house and I was like, must have, bought it that day. And yes, that has definitely been a wintertime gadget and gizmo
It's
that is
amazing.
helping me a lot. Yeah.
So the problem is at the end of this episode, how does Cass move with all of these gadgets and gizmos aplenty?
A crate.
Yeah, but then I mean, into like if I wanted to do the nomadic thing of moving from here to there or whatever, where I feel called for the next couple years, like
Shaman
So
shit crate.
That's a
There's so
lot
many
of
though.
gadgets. I think that you
Right.
could, you do have doubles of some things. You would really have to get granular, and you'd have to be harsh, and you'd have to be like, you'd need Kaylin. You'd need to have Kaylin come and
She waves.
be like, no, Cass, you have this. You'd be like, but that one is just a little tiny millimeter of a difference. It's like, it's okay. It's like
One or the other.
yeah, yeah.
I think I started that process though with sending like Jack the Brain Tap, because like that's an $800 device, and I was like,
Yeah.
it's just sitting here and it needs to be, and I was like, send it to Jack. It was like that voice that told me to get out of bed this morning at 3:30 that I said fuck you.
I know that voice though.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's the starting process of not being attached, and really like going back to the word from last episode, being like in that effortless expansion, like I breathe, it happens. Like I love my gadgets, but I'm like, I feel like this is the year where I don't need a lot of them.
Yes, you have been getting that word.
Which
You're
makes
like,
me sad.
have to let go of your gadgets and gizmos.
I don't think all of them.
Not all of them.
I don't think I'll ever get rid of my, but like same with like the tuning fork thing as I turn like a robot again. Like the tuning fork thing, I don't need it. I have a set. I don't need the root chakra. So if you need a tuning fork, here. Like
I do. Please pass it through the screen. I need it right now.
so this is the year of USPS shipping stuff. So
we need to restart up our XPS ship account.
We actually probably do, especially with mailing out the manifestation blends to the team.
Yeah, I'm mailing out a computer in just a day or two.
And I just
Kaylin, add it to the to-do list. XPS ship, here it comes.
It's actually already on here, so
of course it is.
Literally here.
Love it.
XPS ship, you guys. For those who, I mean, might as well do one more gadget. Basically, it's the equivalent of Tech Bitola, but for shipping. So it will get you the cheapest price for DHL, USPS, UPS, FedEx, all of them.
All of it.
So we like saving money here as well.
Wow. The show notes are going to be just a list. Instead of the show notes, just going to be a list of gadgets and gizmos.
Enjoy your shopping list. Yeah, I have the Maui Hook, Belladonna, Vomit Smell Remover, Now Tone Therapy, Brain Tap, Tech Bitola, Clear Bids, Somavedic, tuning forks, humidifiers, and portable saunas. This episode was not sponsored by anyone.
No, it was not. We are not getting paid for any of this, but we do
utilize every
all
single,
of it.
all of it. Awesome.
Well, we will see you again next week.